Okay, so the question on all your minds, I know, is what is a network? Okay, so a network is a method of connecting two or more computer devices electronically together. And we do this for the purpose of communication, sharing files, sharing peripherals such as printers, and so we can store our files centrally on a server so they can be accessed from anywhere on the network. So now we need to be able to describe or categorize the different types of networks. So we need to think about several things. So we need to think firstly about the size of a network, geographically. We then need to think about what type of media is used. To transfer the data. We might also think about what speed data transmission is. And we could also possibly think about cost. So the first type of network we'll look at is a small network, a local area network. So geographically, the size of a local area network would be relatively small. You're normally talking about a building or a site. The sort of media that they would use, well, we would connect up the computers on our network using things like Ethernet cable, which is made of copper. We would use fibre optic cable, and for the wireless element we'd use radio waves. So if we're putting together a local area network, they can be relatively cheap. And normally the organisation who owns the building or the site would also own the network. So ownership would be probably the company who has the local area network. As far as speed is concerned, the local area network is relatively fast because of the short distances that the data is transferred through. So, local area network. The next type of network that you need to know about is a MAN, a Metropolitan Area Network. So geographically, this type of network is bigger than a LAN. It can be around about between 5 and 50 kilometres. So that could mean a city or a district or a county. It's often a number of LANs which are connected up so they produce a bigger network. So for example, in a very large university which has got campuses around a district, each campus would have its own LAN, but then they would be connected up together to make a metropolitan area network. So quite often, to get these metropolitan area networks to link up, companies use leased lines, which is where telecommunications companies who have laid cables will lease out space on those cables to the companies. As far as cost is concerned, because of the technology involved, it's going to be more expensive than a LAN, and because of the distances involved, possibly slower than a LAN. So there we have a metropolitan area network. Lastly, you need to know about the largest type of network, which is a wide area network, a WAN. So a wide area network geographically can be the size of a country. It could also be the size the whole world. So what media is used? Well, Leased lines are used around the world, and companies create fibre optic backbones which go around the entire globe, normally under the sea. They also use satellite technology to enable the communication to happen globally. So the cost of a wide area network for a company is going to be an awful lot more because of the technology involved, the distances involved, etc., etc. And also potentially slower because, again, of the size and the distance. So wide area network can be as big as a global network. They use leased lines, they use satellite technology. That's an expensive type of network which will be slower than a local area network. The internet, which is the superhighway which the World Wide Web runs on, is a wide area network. So to summarise, local area network, smallest type of network that you need to know about. Normally the size of a site or a building owned by a company, relatively cheap to install and relatively fast. Metropolitan area network, between 5 and 50 kilometres. A district, a city, it may be linking up a number of lands into a metropolitan area network. The sort of media they would use would be leased lines. Then we have the wide area network, the largest of all networks, which can be as big as a global network such as the internet. They often use satellite technology, fibre optic backbones which travel under the sea, and they are expensive for the companies who need to use them. There we go. Those are your 3 types of networks that you need to know about.